Morning, everyone. I'd like to open the Laguna Woods Mutual Open Meeting. This is our regular open meeting of the United Laguna Woods Mutual Board of Directors, California Nonprofit Mutual Benefit Corporation. It's Tuesday, May 9th, 9:30. We're in the boardroom in Laguna Woods, and this is the notice of meeting agenda. And the purpose of this meeting is to conduct the regular United Mutual Board meeting in accordance with Civil Code 4930 and was hereby noticed in accordance with Civil Code 4920. So I want to welcome everyone to our meeting, and in order to make sure that this is professionally run, I just ask that everyone could silence your cell phones at this point so that we don't have interruptions. And also, you're welcome to move up to the front of the room instead of staying in the back of the room. It's your choice, but we'd love to see you closer. So I'm going to call the meeting to order, and we do have a quorum. And at this point, I'm going to ask Director Simon to lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, and with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Is there media here today? No. Okay. First item is approval of the agenda. Is there a motion to approve the agenda?
I so moved.
Okay.
Objection, so.
Oh, okay.
Whenever.
So it's been seconded. Okay, any change in the agenda?
Yeah, when I was at the agenda prep, which I couldn't get through, and I did put in the chat that I wanted to keep on the agenda about the globe, and it's not here.
Okay.
And then the second thing is, I do not see on the committee reports listing for the landscape ad hoc committee, which I was just informed that might have been dissolved without my knowledge or without board approval. So I definitely want to make sure that is a committee that's still around. Microphone.
Yeah.
Anyway, the first is the globe. It should be on the agenda. The second is that there is a ad hoc committee for the landscape, and it's not showing up on the reports, even though it is not, it hasn't met, but it is still alive, and it should be on, or it should be alive. I just heard that they stopped it. Somebody got an email and said it was stopped. So anyway, that's all. I just
Would you
to be
want
sure.
to amend the the agenda to include that ad hoc committee?
Yeah, just I want to be sure it's still alive.
Okay.
Okay, thank you.
Tony?
Yes, Mr. President, is it a Scribner's error here? When we're done this agenda, we're not adjourning, are we? We're recessing?
Recessing, yes.
Okay.
Okay, so do we need to change the motion to approve the agenda based on the amendment or based on? Sorry? Adjourn. We adjourn, yeah, number 19. It's actually adjourn. Is that right on Robert's rules to adjourn or recess? I don't, maybe Tom?
Number 18 is the recess. Number 19 is the end of the entire board meeting, including close.
Okay.
So that doesn't need to be changed.
Okay, thank you. Okay, so the agenda is approved with the amendment to add the ad hoc committee, landscape committee. Is that correct?
And the globe.
No, the globe was removed.
I know, but I asked for it to be put on.
Yeah, but the board voted for it to be removed. Well, it was removed.
Oh, it was done.
It was done, yes.
Okay.
Yes. So with that one change, the agenda is approved. Okay, so the next item is approval of the meeting minutes from April 11th and April 27th. Is there any adjustments to those minutes? Or would you like to make a motion to approve?
I make a motion to approve the meeting minutes of April 11th and April 27th.
Okay, and it's been seconded by Azar. Thank you. Okay, now report of the chair. So last month, we lost a leader in our community, Don Tibbetts, and he was a board member for United and for GRF for nearly 20 years. So he was a real leader in our community, and I'd like to read a little bit about Don. In April, the Golden Rain Foundation and United Mutual Corporation Board of Directors lost a great man. Our dear colleague Don Tibbetts served Laguna Woods Village for over 20 years, volunteering his time and talents to both the United Board and then to the GRF Board. Don and his wife of more than 65 years, Mary Kay, were residents of United Mutual since 2000 when they moved to the village to retire. Don was a native Californian and a native Orange County. Don began his lifetime of service to his country and his community with a tour of duty of the U.S. Navy. While stationed in Corpus Christi, Texas, he met and fell in love with a local girl, Mary Kay Johnson. They were soon married and never looked back. After his tour as Navy pilot, Don and Mary Kay moved back to California, where Don continued his life of service. He earned his teaching degree at Long Beach State College, now CSU Long Beach, and then began a long and successful career with the Santa Ana School District. He taught elementary school for many years, then served as school principal in several different assignments. Along the way, the couple were blessed with two sons, Donald Jr. and Gary. He chaired many committees through the years and always ran a tight ship. For nearly 20 years, he served United and Golden Rain Foundation, and coincidentally, he was first vice president, treasurer, and second vice president of each of our mutuals, of GRF and United. Sorry. He was invariably well prepared and supplied a quiet but firm leadership style to those lucky enough to work with him. He understood the complex relationship among the boards and the staff and treated everyone with whom he worked with courtesy and respect. Our hearts and prayers go out to those he left behind, including his wife, his son Don Jr., a grandson, two siblings, and many nieces and nephews. A memorial service will be held Friday, May 12th at 11 a.m. at St. Nicholas Church. We will miss Don, and our condolences are with his family, and we thank him for all of his service to our community. Thank you. So I'd like to continue our meeting at this point with the open forum. And I'm going to give, at this time, members only may address the Board of Directors regarding items not on the agenda and within the jurisdiction of the Board of Directors. The board reserves the right to limit the total amount of time allotted for the open forum to 30 minutes. A member may speak only once during the forum. Speakers may not give their time to other people, no audio or video recording by attendees, and no rude or threatening comments. Members can attend the meeting by joining the Zoom. So at this point, are there any members that would like to speak?
The first speaker is Catherine Bryans.
Good morning.
I'm here to introduce myself as the United candidate for the GRF open position, and there are several current board members that I do not know and who do not know me. I served as the United board member, including as first vice president, M&C chair, landscape co-chair, as well as attending other committees for United and GRF. I wish to be known as a candidate who is already committed to United Mutual and my community. For 8 years, I served as a community docent and know firsthand how our facilities promote our community. I would like to be a part of that board who is responsible for everything prospective residents see on their tour. They are very, very impressed with everything. Amenities keep our property values strong. Having a history as a board member allows me to be up and running for the job. Don's shoes are too large for me to fill, but I have full confidence in using my own shoes. My financial investment in United and yours is protected by sound fiscal choices and maintaining and improving our amenities. I would appreciate you considering me for that position. Thank you.
Thank you.
The next speaker is Chris Collins.
Good morning, Chris Collins, 3306Q, and I'm here with an update on the work of the foundation, which is on behalf of residents experiencing temporary financial crisis. Here's a little rundown of what your donations have made possible. Foundation of Laguna Woods Village recently held its annual retreat. It's a special occasion when the board looks at what we tried to accomplish in the past and then goes on to identify needs and issues to guide our future activities. In this context, we have identified accomplishments during the past 5 years, but we soon realized that we could never have done any of this without the support of the village. These are really your accomplishments, and we're grateful for your support. So here are some of the highlights of the past 5 years. First of all, we implemented a program to address food insecurity with weekend and holidays, delivered meals with Age Well to supplement Meals on Wheels program. We started transportation programs to the food pantry for those without their own transportation to supplement their weekly food supplies. We provided $30,000 in grocery cards during the first year of the pandemic. We funded shopping services for shut-in residents during the pandemic. We worked with the village and Memorial Care Hospital to provide COVID vaccinations on site here in the village. We expanded programs to provide emergency response devices to needy fall-prone residents, with approximately 70 that we funded last year. We helped fund over 77,000 Meals on Wheels last year alone here in the village. We provided funds to the village library for large print books. We funded Holiday Adopt a Senior program involving nearly 125 residents this past holiday season. We cooperated with UCI to continue fall prevention programs with 2 additional series. We funded cognitive behavior therapy training for social services staff to address social issues of isolations and depression, which is something that's really quite important here in the post-pandemic years. We provided financial assistance to needy residents during the past 5 years, with nearly $115,000 provided last year alone. We implemented financial assistance to program with Braille to assist low vision residents, and we continued providing funds for earthquake kits, care ambulance contracts, and taxi vouchers. And we celebrated the Foundation's 25th anniversary a year ago. So this article is part of our 2023 effort to spread the word about help that's available through the Foundation. And if you are in a group that would like to have the Foundation come and speak, we're happy to do that. You can phone us at 949-268-2246 or the Foundation at comline.com. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Our next speaker is Ms. Elizabeth Romano.
Hello, I want to thank you for your time and follow up on what I was discussing the last time, which was a retaliation against me, which caused me damages, and policies like this need to be stopped. And I know you're familiar with this, or you should be, okay, and that this is followed up and showed that there was harassment and retaliation going on. And now I would think that at least that I would get a, we're sorry that this happened to you, rather than me needing to look for legal services. One of the things that I'm concerned about that caused me to become very depressed was that I was isolated, and this was directly by the board. And I would like for you to look at your materials and see where in your policies and procedures you say that when someone falls out of favor with you, you turn off their TVs. Okay, this is a human rights issue. Okay, I am here as a representative of the United Nations Foundation. They are concerned about the isolation and some of the policies and the high depression rate and suicide rate that we hear. I'm a forensic psychologist, and I really hope to help this community develop a program and bring in one that has been successful on the outside on a high level, because we don't have the training. It isn't our expertise. And I'm going to volunteer as much time as I can to help the community come up with a way that we can help each other and return the vitality and enjoyment that we had living here. So I'm going to ask you really to evaluate that policy and turn the TV back on in the drop-in lounge, okay? That was what made the difference for the people, and I don't really feel that a board has the right to continue to put it on one station, okay? That was 2 years ago. And so please understand that this is an isolating instance as well, and it causes depression, okay? And then depression leads to suicide, okay? And we don't want that. And so I'm here just to ask you to follow up on these things and to identify the people that are doing some of the bullying on the board members, because this leads us to decisions that we wouldn't otherwise arise at. And I'm here again from all the county agencies and the United Nations Foundation to help and to make this a better community. I live here. I shouldn't have had this retaliation against me. So let's start off fresh and, bring in people that have the expertise. And I thank you all for your time and stepping up, because this is really not a good situation. So this is too good of a community to have, the problems that we have that aren't necessary. And I'm also going to ask the other residents in the community to step up and deal with your neighbors and be friendly, and we can return the joy and fun that we used to have here when the drop-in lounge was opening, and 2,000 people a day went in there and had their life made different. So thank you for the consideration.
Thank you very much. Anyone else?
The last speaker is Maxine McIntosh.
Good morning, one and all. So glad to see you all here. And I personally also want to thank you for the nice tribute you paid to Don Tibbetts, since a lot of us here worked with him in different projects through the years and responsibilities. And a little aside that always amused Don and I, he was going through some papers at home a few years back, and he found out that his mother had dated my father.
Oh.
When they were very young. And so he would, every once in a while he'd see me, he'd say, almost sister, almost sister. And that was, you get a little bit of information like that and it just brings you closer. And he was everything that Lenny Ross, our president, said he was: compassionate, a listener, quiet, able to really pick up on people's problems. It was wonderful. Thank you for the tribute. One thing, I live in building 68, and as such, we're in one of the oldest sections of United, and there's 4 units in our building. They're one story, and therefore we tend to get early warning about the big problems that are occurring as a community ages, because we're heading towards 60 years now, and lately it's been a big pipe underground where they have to go down through the floor to get to the pipe, and there's always a big hole, and replace it. A lot of work, a lot of expense, a lot of mess. And in my building, 3 of the neighbors have all moved there. 3 of the homes are occupied by neighbors who moved there in the last 3 years. Don and I have been there 29. So we're the only oldsters in the building. But I've had all of them comment to me, because we always get together for different things, how pleased they are with the service they get here. They're just amazed at how they'll report something, and if somebody isn't out immediately, they know why, they know when to expect someone. And when it's a big project, they're given a plan. And they have pretty well an idea of what steps are going to be followed and what they hope will happen. And they're warned, something might go wrong, but we'll take care of it as best we can. And because I know we hear complaints here from time to time too, and I'm sure they're genuine, most of them. But I'm hearing all of this. People are moving into old units who are still young, and they're just so happy to find out how things are going to be taken care of. I wanted to pass that along. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Okay. Any responses by any directors to any of the speakers? Cash, go ahead.
I want to appreciate Maxine. She is one of the most sincere person I've seen in our community, and she always has good things to say. Thank you.
So I want to respond to Ms. Romano. So this was brought up again last meeting that we met about the TV on the drop-in lounge. It's always on. It's on as long as that lounge is open, which is open when the building's open. And it's on one station, Channel 6, for a reason. The meetings are replayed. There's movies that play on Channel 6 play there. There's interviews. There's all sorts of events that have been recorded that are played over there on the TV, and they're over and over. And that lounge, I go to it almost every day because I walk, except days I have meetings. I walk all around, and I end up at Clubhouse 1 at the drop-in lounge. I sign in. People sign in. There's lists that we have of all the people that come into that lounge every single day. And the reason they sign in is to see if the lounge is being used, and it is. There's coffee there, there's a little refrigerator, there's puzzles, there's tables for computer use, people bring in their own computers, there's Wi-Fi. It's being used. Groups come together and they meet there for coffee, and they talk, and they sit at the little tables, and there's couches, and they sit and watch TV. So that lounge is being used. It is not closed. It is always used. Very rarely do I walk in where there's nobody in there. And if it is, it's because I'm pretty early and it's just opened. But that lounge does not discriminate against anyone. It actually has repairs that have been done to it and so forth. So I don't see any issue with the drop-in lounge being discriminatory or to eliminate any people to come and use the drop-in lounge. It's there, it's kept up, it's clean. Thank you.
Zara.
Thank you so much, Mr. President. Yes, I would like to respond to two, back to Elizabeth Roman. No, you mentioned about the isolation. One of things that I can suggest that we started about last year, our community, our cul-de-sac, we have a neighborhood gathering every 3 months. There is a big lunch there. We are getting together and we know about each other. One of neighbors that recently has a very, unfortunately, hard problem. Now we are all watching him. If there is a noise or something, we quickly can help. We cannot put always on the shoulder of other people. We should think what we can do. We decided in our cul-de-sac, have every 3 months a gathering, we update from each other, and we have some food and we bring it. And that's a good one rather than non-stop asking what other people can do for us. I mean, it's good to see what we can do for each other too. Just to mention that one, that's one thing that we can bring after COVID and not be isolated. Back to things that I am asking again from Shibon. I'm asking you, I saw a post in Nextdoor unfortunately, I checked it late last night. It was a picture of a huge, I don't know which cul-de-sac was, but the water is going like out of the crazy things. And then the note was, all the day is like this. It was midnight, I quickly messaged him. I don't know this person, there was no address, that why you didn't call the security. And so far, this morning, I didn't receive any to give you any information. So my suggestion is, it seems still we need to advertise these phone numbers, to educate our residents. One of my suggestions, very big, and laminated, the phone number of a security service be in all laundry room for emergency. If emergency happen, if the water goes out, is next door, be in the laundry room so everybody knows. The whole day that water, I don't know how much water goes, I will send a picture to Shiban. That's what I wanted to send. And then my last comment is for Chris. Chris, you mentioned very good news about a foundation. Do this foundation get help besides donation of the people you get from outside services, any fund, because what you listed, it was huge amount of money. Where is the source of this money?
Donations are either from individuals or clubs.
So basically is collected inside the Laguna Woods. Nothing you get help from outside, state, government, something?
Well, the way bylaws and the way it's been constructed, that isn't an option. This is an internal thing. It's really unique. I don't think most communities have such a thing.
Okay. Thank you so much. Well, that's what I want to share. Thank you.
Okay, Tom, you had your hand raised.
Yeah, first of all, I'd just like to thank Catherine for introducing herself to some of us that haven't met her before. So thanks, and thanks for being a candidate. I encourage everybody that's willing to serve to think about that. Also, Chris, we appreciate what the foundation does, and we maybe need to give her an honorary spot on the agenda each time since she brings us the good news, but thank you for that. So just wanted to say that thanks to the two of them.
Mary?
So I pulled up next door because I'm on it. So it's a hydrant flush, and I know that I drove by that. They are doing piping work, and when they do piping work with water that can also be used for drinking water, that line, they have to flush it. They have to flush it because they treat it up line with chemicals to clean out any bacteria that may have come in when they did piping work. I used to work for the Department of Water and Power in Los Angeles, and you have to flush it for a certain amount of time, and then they test the water, and if it's clean, then they will shut off the fire hydrant. Another thing is, if it's not that, they also test fire hydrants, and they have to run it for a certain amount of time to see the flow of it, because heaven forbid they have to hook up to a fire hydrant that the pipe leading to it is broken. They have no idea. So they do that periodically too. So this is a routine maintenance, be it to flush the water because there was pipe working, or to test the fire hydrant, and it has to run for a long time. It's not a waste. It's it kind of is a waste of water, but it's a necessary evil. You have to do that, and that's what this picture looks like. Okay.
Go ahead, please.
Yes, as to the foundation, several clubs do money raisers each year, and the men's golf club is noted for that every year. So the clubs do participate. They will send out cards. You can do it for recognition cards for anybody, for birthday, for whatever. And so that's the way the residents continue. But the clubs are really very helpful. Thank you.
Yeah, well, President Ross, Eric Nunez, our security director, would like a few moments, if you don't mind.
Sure.
Thank you.
Thank you, President Ross and members. I would just like to take a few seconds here and tell you that, and thank actually Ms. Romano for bringing up the issue of isolation and suicide. You know, and it's an unfortunate situation that happens way too often all over the world, right? And no doubt we experience numbers that we're actually. I had met with a member, the associate director, and a member of their staff from Orange County Social Services regarding this issue, and was telling them that the numbers that they portray sometimes look like percentage-wise are higher because we have such a lower population as compared to a lot of the cities that they do. So the numbers are different. I asked, how do we get the aggregate? Because it doesn't actually, I'd like to know what the actual raw number is. And they told me that they would work on that for us and would look into it and see if they could provide us the actual number versus a percentage per 100,000, since we only have 18,000 people living in our community. But just so you know that social service is aware of the issue of isolationism and loneliness and living alone, and have been working on it, and really with the support of the foundation, who's also been helping with that, and UCI and the Council on Aging. This is an issue that we've been delving into for a little while now, and plan on continuing with this because, in fact, I think it was yesterday or these days, but we had a meeting with the CEO and members of her staff with Memorial Care. And looking at how we can better partner, in the future on different topics. And one of the things that was brought up was isolation of our population, and they were really very concerned that that they help assist and do what they can to help us to better define that and look at it and figure out ways that we can keep people from being so isolated. And they're really concerned too with folks that are going into hospital procedures and then having to return discharged alone, and how we can start doing a better job identifying that and meeting the needs of those folks that are left discharged by themselves. And we all know that the recovery process from a lot of these medical procedures, you need help, and sometimes you don't have. As our director, Asghari, she's mentioned that a tight-knit little community like that within your buildings and neighborhoods that will look out for each other. But there are a lot of things that we're looking into as future safety nets to prevent the kind of depression that would possibly lead to suicide, and just to have an overall increase in health and wellness in our community. So I just wanted to assure you that Social Services is aware. They've been working on it, and we will continue to work on that with all of our partners, and including the support of the foundation.
Thank you.
Mr. President, while you are there, can you come up with some creative ideas that still, I am sure many people don't know the phone numbers or how to reach to security when needs an emergency or something happen, or after hour. One suggestion, as I said, put in all laundry room a big laminate with the phone number, call this one. I really appreciate another, maybe put it in the TV. Sometimes I turn on the TV 6, and then it's just a flower and showing, is nice flower to see, but maybe that phone number or call this one is after hour. Something that people be aware.
Yeah.
I can say communication is the first things. Thank you if you be creative about that one.
Yeah,
Thank you.
we'll definitely look at that, and also with our media and communications, and find out if we can do something with the ticker down below or
Appreciate
scroll.
your work. Thank you.
Maggie, go ahead.
Every resident gets a breeze every 2 months. Every page has phone numbers on it. There are many, many pages and ways to get assistance. They're all mentioned in the breeze. There are copies of the breeze at clubhouses. You can come here and get one if you've lost yours. we do publish things that's published in the Globe. Not everybody gets it, but everybody gets the breeze. All you have to do is read the first 2 pages, and you've got a whole host of services right there for you. People will be friendly, but if you're not feeling well and you're reserved and quiet, then someone has to be notified. A neighbor has to call, and social services will come and visit and help. They jump right in as soon as they can. It's not a matter of calling exactly the right number, because everybody can direct you to the right number. You just make one call and you will get redirected to the right place. So don't throw away your breeze. That's why we give it to you. Even if you have an old copy, all the numbers are still the same. So let's do what we have and use what we have. If you walk into a clubhouse, you can walk into meetings and just say hi to somebody and they'll help you. So you have to be aware that there are people ready to help you, and there are ways to get service. Thank you.
Yeah, I think it's a vitally important topic for our community because we are a senior community. And, you know, I wonder what happens, you know, when people are married for 50 or 60 years and lose their spouse, and their children are far away or they don't have children, and they're alone for the first time in 50, 60 years. This happens in every community, but of course it happens in our community as well. And so we need to figure out some better way to reach out to those people when they lose their spouses or when they need help or need assistance. And we do have social services. They are available. And people need to reach out sometimes, but we need to figure better ways to reach out to them as well, because there's a lot of loneliness in our community, and it needs to be dealt with. So I thank you for your help with that.
Thank you, President Russ. There is a good thing about our community is that your neighbors actually do call security and will be concerned about their neighbors because of the very fact pattern that you just laid out. And then we usually go there and then we'll document an incident report, as they call it, over their concern. And then that goes right to social services, and they'll do that reach out and just check up on them. But I believe that getting that number as many times, putting it up there, that's probably a good thing, you know. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Okay, any other comments? Okay. So we're going to move on to response to past open forum speakers. And Sue, I think you have some things to announce.
Yes, okay. I'm sorry Elizabeth Romano just stepped out. Oh, no, there she is. Good. Good. From our last meeting, she commented about the drop-in lounge, about the TV, and bringing back the chairs. She also talked about the isolation that people are experiencing. And she also talked about her perceived retaliation from security coming around. So we discussed it last time, but again, per Director Simon, the drop-in lounge has not been closed in the last year and a half. The TV is always on to Channel 6, and the chairs are always on the patio. And we checked, and per compliance and security, there are no open cases right now. So hopefully that you'll feel more comfort in that. We also recommended that you go to the GRF Community Activities Committees as they handle the community centers. And I dropped off a sample agenda with notice of their next meeting date for you at your home. So hopefully these things are being addressed, and Social Services was here to talk about it as well. Then Robert Cunningham from 748C informed the board of his financial work and credentials, and he did not like one of the director's comments regarding United Finance advisors being amateurs. And this was amicably handled. Director Casey apologized to Mr. Cunningham for her comment made at the last board meeting. Maxine McIntosh, 68C, she wanted the board to be careful, look after the village, and protect the shared cost system. The statement received, and we are doing so. Gil Shuckman, 898Q, he asked if his balcony could be repainted since it's not been painted since 2014. A ticket was opened to paint the balcony and is scheduled for the second week of May. Alice Feinstein, 21A. Her heating and air conditioning are both old and not working efficiently. She wanted to know if these can be updated. And she was told the mutual does not replace heaters or air conditioners. NC Carlos, 303A, she is objecting to the flashing red lights on the new LED stop signs. She said the signs are eyesores and a waste of members' money. Director Blackwell said that the signs are very important. The signs alert residents of the stop requirement, and the safety of the residents is of the utmost importance. And I believe you also mentioned that members of the seeing impaired community really appreciate our efforts on this. Let's see. The next one is Hassan Shahari, and that was for 905B, and it was the member's sons commented on behalf of parents to discuss a technical issue regarding nearby soil from the recent rains and expressed his worries that this will have a negative effect on the building foundation. So the status report on that is that they did a structural evaluation of the building. The cracked pilaster under the building will soon be replaced. Temporary shoring will be put in place to support the existing floor beams. And please note that even though the pilaster is cracked, it is still providing adequate support for the floor. The engineer determined that there is no evidence that the upper floor above the crawl space is sloping or sagging. All beams remain in good condition from a structural standpoint. There are no immediate dangers and concerns. Gutters and diverters will soon be installed to prevent future water puddling. And temporary shoring is scheduled to be installed the week of 5/8/23. Julie Bagish, members shared concerns regarding excessive water in the entryway and breezeway, as it has caused some damage to her unit during recent rains. The M&C department status, a building settlement inspection took place on 4/10. Staff is waiting for the findings to be updated in the database. Gutters were cleaned on 3/15. Downspouts will be repaired as well. Drains under building and crawl space were clogged, causing the breezeway to fill with water. They cleared the drains on 3/17. Let's see. Anthony Consul. Member commented on water damage in his unit that occurred from roof leak in the recent rains. Risk Management Division, leak reported, living room ceiling and floor. A 920 Roof Division investigation reported leak issue and repaired 3 laps of PVC membrane. During staff inspection, there was visible damage in living room ceiling and floor had visible water pooling. His main concern is that a rain leak occurred in his unit. He was offered a floor allowance of $735.68. He contested that and said it was much more. And so the board looked at it, and the board would ultimately need to approve the allowance for the entire flooring instead of the damaged portion. Mr. Consul stated that insurance would not cover the rain leak, and we would need to seek proof of denial before a decision is made. Flooring reimbursement requests will be added to the United closed agenda for approval. And then our last one is Diana Hafner, 309F. She indicated that there are bubbles on vinyl flooring beginning in 2015. Replaced floors in 2021 with waterproof resin. March 2022, noticed floors buckling, contacted VMS. On March 16th and the 21st, staff inspected the alteration wood flooring in Manor 309F. There was no evidence of elevated moisture readings, and the flooring did not show signs of past moisture damage. On March 22nd, staff confirmed there is no plumbing leak or under slab pipe leak. Staff also performed visual surveys of the common areas surrounding the building, including the exterior building walls and foundation. It did not show signs of water seepage, and landscape staff confirms that the irrigation system isn't leaking, although they have installed a new drain to minimize saturation during rain events. Staff's inspection notes confirm some floorboards have signs of buckling or peaking. This usually occurs due to seasonal changes in temperature and humidity. Staff recommends the alteration floor installer be called back to adjust these boards. Since there is no active leak, no detectable moisture present, and no damage to mutual property, staff cannot conduct destructive testing, removal of the floor planks. Additionally, the mutual does not offer this work as a chargeable service. Staff has communicated the results of the field surveys to Ms. Hafner. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, next item is the VMS board update. Director Khan. It's not Director Khan. Dan, please.
I'm here to update you on our last United VMS meeting, and I would like to thank staff for preparing a visual. A lot of things have changed since I originally served on the VMS board. Anthony and I go back a long way to that original board. We'll start off by, at our meeting it was discussed that there was an executive committee that was formed, and the purpose of it apparently was to kind of shorten up some of the processes. It was determined by the entire VMS board that this might be a little bit duplicative, and so it was decided to disband the executive committee, which would allow the full board more participation in some of those discussions and deliberations. And I think it'll actually work out much for the better. It was a relatively new committee that was just started within the past year, and really, as I mentioned, was duplicative. During our meeting, we also had a presentation about the Bright Ideas program. You may be aware that that was instituted in an effort to encourage staff to come up with ideas to maybe save the community some money. And we were fortunate enough to be introduced to 3 staff members who have been awarded amounts totaling $1,500. And those staff members, and if you'll bear with me, Ada Monensono, Jayana Abelmatsky, and Delphine Maffey were presented with the awards. They were actually presented with a very huge check, which I don't think anyone would cash, but it looked very good. And you can see in the presentation what the awards were actually for. And what's really encouraging for all the VMS board members is how many more staff members have been encouraged to participate, and there are any number of new ideas that are coming forth. One idea was mentioned on the presentation is there's one that's a $27,000 annual reduction in costs and fees. We also talked about a spring real estate forum. It was held on the 3rd. And you can see the members of the presentation. It was very effective, and it also provides an opportunity for people to learn about the community and become more involved. The next one will be held July 19th. Members of the board are working on a strategic plan update. And the important thing is, and all of us are very aware of what's going on in not only our community, but nationwide about how difficult it is to attract, develop, and retain high-quality staff. I mean, you can't go anywhere these days without seeing help wanted signs and whatever. Lori and I went into in and out, and it, a big sign, this is how much you can get if you work here. And it's fairly astounding. It was more than I made my first year as a pharmacist. And of course, that was a long time ago. But I think the strategic plan objectives, as you can see, is to attract and develop and retain high-quality staff and facilitate operational excellence. I think Siobhan and the entire staff is doing a really terrific job in bringing that forward. I know the boards are very involved in participating on ways that we can, reduce costs in the community, have value-added activities, and I think it's very important. Customer service, I think Maxine mentioned about customer service, and I must tell you that as a member of United, I've been very impressed with the quality of the staff that comes around and assists us. If any of my neighbors in my cul-de-sac has a problem, they have always shared with me how impressed they've been with the staff that have come by and helped them out. Key performance indicators under the KPI reporting. Our objective is to have no more than 50 vacancies as far as recruitment and retention. We currently are at 77, and as I mentioned earlier, it's a difficult process, but I think that we're really encouraged that we had a net gain of 11 employees in March, and we've extended the hours in the PAC. As far as the real estate closings, you can see United and Third, the objective is 20 days. United is 21, Third is 20, which is right on track with what we're encouraged to do. And as I said, much has changed since my original tenure on the VMS board. The barriers here are a nice touch. I know they came with COVID, but I'm kind of curious if they remain to protect you from me or me from you. Sorry, Maggie. Any questions?
Thank you. Yes, you gave kind of constant very, report. Regarding two things, I can see that the new ideas, I like that one, the new ideas that comes from VMS staff, how to saving, and that's a good sign to see how other people might have a good idea as well. Right. I suggested to put I said this one a few months ago, last year, a box near here, let residents even bring new ideas. It doesn't cost, we're not going to pay them, but if they put it there, maybe among all of them, we get one good idea that can, a box, put some, share your new ideas with us. One thing, how to bring the cost down is perfectly fine, but another way how we can bring revenue up. So it's kind of both way is address one thing. Regarding to bring the revenue up, there are, I'm sure if you put that box, lots of information come. Some of them might not be reasonable, some of them might. And then we can start thinking about that. That's number one that I suggested to put that one and get idea. And number two, you mentioned that lots of, in your cul-de-sac, people coming, talking to you, and they are doing good job. At the same time, maybe other cul-de-sac not have the same success that you have. The most important things, how we can address those people are not satisfied or people that not get. Those people are satisfied, perfectly fine, good. That's supposed to do because they pay for that. My request is, for example, as VMS, if it is possible, go through each department, get the highest 3 tickets that comes more often, and address that one and say, what's that people calling non-stop for example, this kind of faucet. Maybe we should change the kind of the faucet, or rather than non-stop changing. That's when you get the first 3 highest, then focus on that one and maybe bring the ticket down, and that's another saving. I wanted to share with you that one. Thank you.
Thank you.
So I have a question, and maybe Siobhan can answer this, or you can answer this. So when we're talking about the KPI about vacancies and such, and that our objective is 50 vacancies, so when you have these numbers, right now we have 77, the objective is 50, is that based on 100% capacity, meaning 2020 or 2019 vacancy figures, or not even vacancy, but the number of employees that we had at that point, and we're trying to make this the same number? or, because the PAC was closed for a very long time, and then it also is just starting to reopen, were we counting those as vacancies even though the facility was closed?
We, to begin with, 50 is our goal. That's just simply a manageable number that we're striving to get to, given the challenges of the labor market. In the current budget, we have a vacancy factor of approximately 24.5 positions, if I remember correctly. So we built into the 2023 budget an assumption that facilities weren't fully opened and so forth, so we did not incur those costs this year. So the equivalent of 24.5 positions.
So we were looking at what do we need versus what our, if we were fully wide open and everything was running. We're looking at, this is what we have open, these are the programs that are open, these are the facilities, and this is the staffing we need for that.
That was our philosophy, correct?
Perfect, thank you.
You know, I like this bright idea programs, but I think the recipient's photo or something should be displayed in the lobby so people know that the person is really, encouraged. It encourages everybody else to do that.
We have a three-pronged approach to recognizing these employees. The first is at the VMS board meeting. The second will be at the Employee Excellence Awards that are later this month. And at that ceremony, they will have their pictures taken and they will be displayed on the wall on the second floor of the community center. And lastly, I guess it's a fourth prong, I will be doing a presentation about the recipients coming up. So that'll be on TV6 on this day.
Siobhan and I actually discussed that this morning, and she was going to mention that.
One more thing, so I can go to the second floor, but a lot of the people in the audience and a lot of our residents cannot go to the second floor. I think, along with what Cash is saying, that they be where the public can see it, somewhere on the first floor or somewhere, you know, in the area that they work. Like if they work at Clubhouse 1, you put it at Clubhouse 1. If they work, because we want to make sure that our residents understand that we're trying to save them money, and that because they don't, especially if residents could then participate, that it's just in their view that they can see, wow, we're really working on this.
Thank you for your suggestion. We'll consider that. That's a great suggestion. Thank you.
Question for you, Ron. I know out of the vacancies, some of them are covered by outside services, such as landscaping. For every 10 vacancies, you can bring in 9 people for the same amount from outside services. How many of those vacancies are ones that you can't cover by outside services?
Well, we have 17 that are held for landscaping, so net out 17.
Yeah, I have a question, a quick question. I like the bright ideas. And going back to actually the recognition of the bright ideas, I think if there was a poster board or some kind of a signage, you know, by the signs that have all of our board members down on the first floor, or maybe when you walk into the building of the community center, that's where everyone walks and everyone sees everything. It would be good recognition of those employees to have it right there, you know, where the massive number of people are coming in and out of. But as far as I like the Bright Ideas program. I think it's a great program. One of the items that they came up with was, which I caught, was pertaining water heater procurement and the chance of saving $25,000 annually. So whatever that idea is, I'd like to see that emphasized as we do our budgets. I don't know the specifics behind the idea, but whatever the idea is, because we do a lot of water heaters every year, and if we could save $25,000 or more, let's include it in our budget process. So I'm sure that's part of this.
Yes, definitely, and that one is still being fine-tuned. We're double-checking the savings amount, so that award is forthcoming.
Okay.
And you'll certainly hear much more about that.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you very much.
Okay, yes, thank you. I appreciate everything that the VMS is doing. It's really good, very important. On the good ideas, the bright ideas for staff and residents, you know, it's nice to have everything here, but the majority of our members never come into this building. I never come into this building unless I'm going to the gym or up to the third floor to a computer center or something. So, you know, as a suggestion, and it's a suggestion only, but you guys have more thoughts on this, perhaps we could do it in like the Village Breeze or focus it on a website link, something where, you know, there's an opportunity for more people to see it, you know, maybe Channel 6. And then also when Azar was talking about the residents and leaving a drop-off box and things like that. Well, those are good for the people who are not computer literate or just prefer to do hard copies of everything. But perhaps there could be like an email that's also published. But again, that means that staff has to track and act on a variety of things. That perhaps that's better than just going to resident services and having them forwarded. So just some thoughts on that.
And just want to thank everyone for their suggestions. We'll certainly have a further discussion about this. Thank you.
As far as communications for residents, we have meetings held open. You can come on a meeting. You can Zoom in on a meeting. You have email addresses to send to committees. You have phone calls that you can leave. You have messages of all kinds. They can always let a committee know of something. You can always let us know by sitting in the audience and talking to us. So it's not like we're holding people back who want to say something. If you have an idea that you've worked up or you think might work, then suggest it to us at a committee meeting or at this meeting or send an email. It's very easy, actually. People are already doing it with their complaints. So when they get a good idea, they can certainly find a way to mention it to us. We just, maybe we could put in the newspaper, we would appreciate new ideas, suggestions. But that means that we have to reject some. See, if we reject some, if you've worked on it, and you want it and you think you're going to win a prize or anything, and it simply won't work because of something, then somebody has to analyze that and get back to the person. And that's where it becomes, instead of an enlightening thing, it becomes a depressing thing for the resident. So I think we have to just use the communication we have. Do what you can do, suggest what you can suggest, but remember, there might be things that keep us from doing something, but we would appreciate hearing the suggestion, but don't take it wrong if we can't accept it. Thank you.
Thank you, Honorable President, members of the board. In my previous presentations, I've talked about the 2024 budget process that's just getting underway and ways residents can help control costs. I'm sorry, Paul was going to bring up my presentation. This morning, I want to follow up on that topic and also highlight what VMS employees are doing to control costs. One cost savings measure I highlighted previously pertains to members opting out of paper mailings. Senate Bill 392 took place earlier this year, and that requires that each member receive a written request to indicate a preferred delivery method. Notice will arrive, or it may have already arrived, with your 2022 audited financial statements. And we ask that you please look for this letter and reply. To opt out of receiving hard copy mailings and receive these communications electronically, again, you can mail or drop off this form, and I know many of you already have. At the community center, you can drop it off at the concierge desk or mail it in, or you can email communications electronically to information@vmsinc.org. And just to go over the costs of those mailings, the November and April mailings cost $7.50 per member. If 12,000 members were to opt out of paper mailings, the annual savings would be $90,000 per year. If only a third of members opted out, this would save more than $31,000 per year. So again, we really encourage you to look for that and to opt out. You don't need the slides. Residents are also encouraged to use Dwelling Live, Easy Pay, and other technology tools to save additional costs. Registering guests electronically versus calling every time you have someone to have passed through the gates can save up to $1.60 per call. To this end, the PC Club is partnering with VMS and offering technology classes upstairs at the Bob Sellards PC Club Learning Center on the 3rd floor of the community center. The class on Monday, May 15th from 1 to 2:30 p.m. will cover Laguna Woods Village Access Computer System, otherwise known as Dwelling Live, and this will show residents how to manage guest passes, overnight parking permission online from their smartphones, tablets, and computers. They can send QR codes to guests via email or receive notification as their guests pass through the gates. On Thursday, May 25th at 1 o'clock, the class will cover Laguna Woods Village technology tools, Dwelling Live, the ticket portal, the resident portal, and the Recreation and Special Events Department apps that are available to register for different classes and to golf and so forth. To register for these classes, you can register on the PC Club website or at the PC Club workshop on the 3rd floor of this building from 11 to 3 p.m. during the week. I also want to highlight on, I'm sorry, can we go to the, there we go. I also want to highlight what VMS employees are doing to reduce costs. One example is the purchase of new buses for the transportation program as pictured on your screen. The new buses are 8-passenger ADA low-floor buses, and they've been entered into service. These buses cost an estimated $35,000 less than the 18 to 22-passenger buses that are used on some routes. And the buses also offer increased fuel efficiency, 19 miles per gallon city compared to 10 miles per gallon for the current larger buses. This will generate $6,000 to $7,000 annually in fuel savings, or $42,000 to $49,000 per bus over the life of the vehicles, which is estimated at 7 years. Next slide, please. Another example is the new irrigation master control system. As you know, GRF is installing a new irrigation master control system that controls 407 irrigation controllers for more than 600 acres of landscaping. The new weather track control system uses cloud-based software, providing the user with remote access to manage the controllers, and also daily weather reports are communicated to the controllers automatically to adjust run times. The estimated savings of this new system is 74 million gallons of water annually throughout the village. This is more than $280,000 based on current water rates per year. But what I wanted to highlight today is that this new system is also eligible for rebates from the Metropolitan Water District, and these are equal to $35 per station. And with more than 10,000 stations in the system, GRF will receive more than $350,000 in rebates when the project is completed. This is the largest system upgrade in the MWD service area, which encompasses most of Southern California. So this is just a major accomplishment for our landscaping department, and I wanted to highlight it this morning. I also have a few key announcements this morning that I would like to share. First, as Director Kenny talked about, the Performing Arts Center has expanded its hours. The new hours went into effect on May 1st and include Monday, Wednesday, and Fridays. The facility is now open from 8 a.m. to 10 p.m., Tuesdays and Thursdays from 8 a.m. to 5 p.m., and the box office is open Monday through Fridays from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. and we anticipate additional weeknight and weekend hours to be added soon. Also, the annual asphalt pavement program is starting. This is the annual program to perform asphalt and concrete improvements on community streets and GRF and mutual facilities. The first phase includes the repair and replacement of damaged concrete directly adjacent to the asphalt areas to be repaved. The second and final phase includes the asphalt grinding, paving, and restriping work. The first phase is kicking off in mid-May and will be completed in June. Most importantly, the United locations to be worked on include Via Estrada near Gate 2 and cul-de-sacs 59, 13, and 204. The contractor is All American Asphalt, and they will distribute and post notifications 2 weeks in advance of work starting and post no parking signs 48 hours in advance of work starting. And lastly, I want to mention the Fall Prevention Initiative. This is a partnership between the Foundation of Laguna Woods Village and Memorial Care Saddleback Medical Center to provide free fall prevention classes to our residents. In Laguna Woods Village, falls are particularly commonplace and the biggest reason for paramedic calls. Classes will be led by medical center staff, focusing on different aspects of fall prevention, incorporating chair exercises, stretch, and strengthening to help improve strength and stability. The program will be offered as 1 month segments in July, August, and September. The 3 one-hour sessions will be held each month on Wednesdays from 2:30 to 3:30 in Clubhouse 2. And registration is via ActiveNet or at Clubhouse 2 in the office or at the Recreation office here in the Community Center. So again, that class starts in July and also has segments in August or September, depending on your schedules. So that concludes my update this morning. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. Oh, Tony.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. To our CEO, it seems to me that sometime in the past, we used to get some kind of a subsidy from Caltrans for our buses. Are we still eligible for that?
That was, my understanding was some sort of federal transportation funding. I know we look regularly to see what is available. I can't speak to what is available at the current time, but we do check regularly. And we do have an initiative amongst all of our departments. We are partnering with the Village Community Fund, who has subscribed to a database of grant opportunities for nonprofits, as well as other agencies like ours. And so we have now immediate access to this ever-changing database of grant opportunities. So we are in that regularly, looking for opportunities that our various departments may pursue.
Thank you. So we are aware of that and looking for it. Thank you.
So I have a question. On the fuel, I'm glad we're saving money on, and the large buses, you see them, I've never seen them packed. But pre-COVID, they could have been packed. I don't know. But when I was on the Board of Ed, we would do fuel oil because we lived in cold weather, and we'd get a contract for the year. Is there any opportunity to get contracts for gasoline?
We have one, and in
Perfect.
fact, we actually allow HWell to use our fuel, and we receive an administrative cost associated with that. So
Perfect, good. And the second thing is, the water, I know we're saving money on putting in this irrigation, and I think that's a great idea. What was the ROI on that before the rebates and after the rebates?
we do have that. I don't have that information off the top of my head.
We do have that?
Yes.
Could we get that?
Yes.
I just am curious. Thank you.
I was wondering, I thought the buses were operated by Agewell, not by us. No? That's not
No,
true?
we operate our own transportation system.
Didn't mean to. Yes, thank you. Thank you so much for all the reports that Siobhan, you gave it, and you read it very well, but I try to check. It's not in the package, and I'm sure by the time I get home, I forgot half of that.
We'll
Is it
email
possible?
We'll email it to you.
From now on, your report, like this report, being here, so in that case, we have it? Thank you.
Yes. I was going to ask the same thing. If you could email us the presentation, that would be very helpful. And then on the fall prevention class, is that at a locale where they have to go, or is this also going to be like on TV6 or?
Yes, it's in person. It's at Clubhouse 2.
It's at Clubhouse 2. And how is that being advertised?
This is the first kickoff of the advertisement, but we're
Okay.
going to make a marked effort to get the word out
Okay.
to everyone in
Thank you.
various methods.
Allison, go ahead.
Do
Siobhan, have
you have
you
the
been
time on that program? What time, the fall prevention?
It's on Wednesdays from 2:30 to 3:30 at Clubhouse 2. You can either take the classes in July, August, or September.
Okay. Thank you.
Question about the possible resale of the used bus equipment. Anything been realized out of that, Siobhan?
We surplus all of our equipment, so that's in progress. This has been fairly new, so I don't know if that equipment has been surplused yet, but I will check with Robert.
Thanks.
Pearl?
Yeah, I'm sure our residents will be so excited to hear about all these money-saving ideas that the VMS has presented, and I think it's wonderful. I have a question. I think it's really, I am really glad to hear that we have a report regards to last month's members' comments, like Sue did today. But like today, there were about at least 10 of them, and I think for the people that watches, if they miss it, they probably didn't hear their answers. So is there any way we can post it on our somewhere so they can go back? Because if they have missed, because there were at least 8 or 10 of them today, and I think that's really good. I think every month we should have a follow-up.
Okay. Please let me check on what is possible.
Yes, okay, thank you.
That's a good point. I wanted to raise one issue, and that's, I think the fall prevention is a great program. We see many of the consequences of falls that could lead to more serious outcomes, unfortunately. And to prevent that, or actually to get more information about falls in our community, I'm wondering if we could figure out if the falls are mostly due to walking on areas of the concrete that are not matched or uneven or not the same level, or it's just the unstable nature of the person, or it's a combination of both. And if it's issues that we're responsible for, of course, we need to make repairs in our community, to correct concretes that are broken or need repair. And so when we do find issues that need repair, we need to contact general services to maintenance to make the necessary correction quickly so that other people don't fall.
Yes, and we have that procedure in place presently. We immediately make repairs.
Okay.
But I think the intent of this program is more focused on trip and falls within your residential units where most of them occur.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you. Any other comments? Okay. All right. Consent calendar. Next item. All matters listed under the consent calendar are recommended for action by committees and will be enacted by the board by one motion. In the event that an item is removed from the consent calendar by members of the board, such items shall be subject of further discussion and action by the board. Is there any motion to approve the items in the consent calendar or make any changes to the consent calendar?
I make motion that we approve items 11A, B, C, D.
I second it.
All of the items, or did you say?
No, A, B, C, D, this one, and F.
A, B, C, D, and F?
Yeah,
A, B, C, D, and F.
because we have to read them.
And is there a second for that?
So what is why you don't want it, all of them?
We have to read this for, no, we don't?
No? If it is consent calendar now?
Okay, then item 11.
Okay.
Then I second it.
Okay, all items in 11, and it's seconded by Azar. Okay.
You
Any-
have to-
Any
Point
discussion
of order,
or
what are we approving now?
the
All
consent
items?
calendar?
But
All the items in the consent calendar,
including E.
including E, yeah. So, any objections to that? Without objection, we'll approve the consent calendar. Consent calendar is approved. Okay, item 12, there's nothing. New business, item 13. So United Mutual Town Hall meetings. There was recently a town hall meeting in May, in April, that Azar held, and it was regarding repairs of the mutual. Did you want to report on that, Azar? Or did
Thank you,
want to say a
Mr.
few
Chair.
words?
Yes, I would like, there is a report and there is a response, so I'll go one by one. Yeah, we have in April 14 a very successful town hall. More than 110 people, all packed was that room. The title was Responsibility for the Repairs, United Mutual or Residents, and that's attract that much people to come, and that shows that how much they are thirsty to hear information, and that's the value of giving information. And this issue was addressed based on much confusion among residents who believe all repairs will be covered by United Mutual, which is not true. The moderator, of course, of Town Hall was me, Director Asghari, who started meeting at 2, and the Town Hall addressed a problem which attracted more than 110 people. There was a PowerPoint that I made it, and a very detailed PowerPoint presentation on all items that are covered by United Mutual, as well as items that are not covered by United, which they are residents' responsibility. 6 categories include in that PowerPoint: appliances, electrical, carpentry, paint, plumbing, and paving. They were addressed. In each category, there was information with the example. Also, presentation reminds residents that there is a $50 charge if the appointment is not canceled 24 hours before a scheduled time. Also, Director Asghari demonstrated an example of appliances. You can get reimbursement, the remaining of the lifetime of if you wants to change. For example, if you want to change your refrigerator, buying a new one, what you wanted, you get one-time reimbursement, and I made an example how much you get it based on the unused years of the lifetime. And also in that meeting, it was highly recommended that each shareholder gets HO6 insurance, since repairs inside the units are residents' responsibility, and I am repeating that one, that you must have HOA6 to be covered, protect. When I said must, is your choice, but if not, then you have to pay out of your own pocket. And after their presentation, many audience members expressed their requests or comments. Some were addressed in the meeting, and the rest were collected, which I am reading. If you want a copy of presentation, please send email to generalmanager@vmsinc.org. I know I didn't send to you, Catherine. I will send it. And here is the residents' request. I promise I will respond in this meeting. Doreen Chanders is a 2044 via Mariposa. She asked 3 things. Is there a charge for guests for ping pong? No. However, the residents must accompany with the guest. Can guests attend free yoga classes? Please ask the class instructor directly because each class is different. She also asked, water accumulated under the gate. The slab is uneven, and puddles of rain have recently accumulated for days. The response is the paving department will be inspecting the area to see if the slab is an alteration patio or not. If the slab is not alteration, they will make the needed correction. If the slab is alteration, it will be owner's responsibility to fix. And also she asked, need exterior front door painted? It is cracking. Staff determined that this entry door belongs to the mutual and it needs to be replaced. Staff has contacted the owner and scheduled this work for next Tuesday, May 9. At the time that I received it was next Tuesday, May 9. Once the new doors have been installed, staff will schedule them to be painted. Linda Van Comp, 865Q. Can we have our building power washed since it has been 10 years since painted? The mutual does not budget for mid-cycle power washing. United Exterior Paint program has been on a 15 years cycle since 2021. Building 865 was painted in 2013. Therefore, the next schedule for painting is 2028. And then another question that she made, can my building gutters be repaired or replaced if they are cracked and leaking? And the response is a gutter repair ticket was opened by resident service for building 865 to address gutter issue. Is there lead paint on ceiling of my carport? It is flaking and peeling down on my car. The entire carport was inspected and qualifies to be repainted. Staff is working this into a schedule. Estimate start time is about 4 weeks. John Waterworks is 177 Unit C. How can we get the area around trash containers to be cleaned? Who is responsible? Could trash company clean? Ticket was created by resident service to be clean the trash area near building 177. This is good information to know. I didn't know even. And the carport storage bin is lower, never built, must be followed the same wooden storage bin or not. I got a bid for 800, but I want to buy one of those pre-made for 300. The response is, please refer United Architectural Standard 28, a storage cabinet, which will provide guidance regarding a storage cabinet if you want to build. But if you want to buy already, if it is the same size, is okay. Jean 2037B, when will plumbing pipes be replaced? I think that was one of the comments that Maxi says today. The United Maintenance and Construction Project log shows all the buildings tentatively scheduled to have their pipes lined with epoxy this year. The waste line and Cooper pipe remediation project are ongoing, and notice will be provided to the residents of the building several months in advance. The project log is located at lagunawoodsvillage.com under residents. Go to the services and then go to maintenance and landscape. And Marsha Howings, 914A. I have a bird's nest inside my carport. There are no birds in the nest, but I will told United with no more, can they clean up? Resident service opened a ticket and clean birds dropping in the carport 675. Work was completed. And blowing out carport is not cleaning the carport. How often do carport get clean? Not just blowing air. Due to weather restriction, the mutual now prefer a basic carport cleaning. The basic cleaning entails spot cleaning of oil stain and bird dripping, then a complete blow down to remove dust, leaves, webs, and debris. And the last one is, last one in this page. Somebody asked about the acid leak from the cars, battery acid leaks. Since there is no address, the response is if security service see any of those acid, definitely they will report it to the compliance, and they report, and then they take care of that.
Azar, is there any way to distribute that to the people or the members? Because that's not part of our agenda.
Oh, okay.
Is there
So
any way we
I
can
didn't know.
distribute?
Would you like to distribute to the people directly?
Yes.
Okay, okay,
So
we
any
can
way
do
to-
that.
Because they might have not been listening to that, and so.
Okay.
It should be.
Yes,
included
anyway, at this point, we read
somehow.
all of them, but I will send that.
Maybe
Thank
an
you.
e-blast.
Yeah, thank you.
Okay, next item, or speaking with town halls. Yeah, Tony. Go ahead.
Thank you, Mr. President. I'd like to ask our CEO, what sparked my interest with Director talking about visitors coming in and participating in things, and especially that yoga class, so we don't, do we have them hold, I'm worried about exposure. If people throw a hip out or a joint out or something like that, do we make them sign a hold harmless, or how does that work?
I don't want to answer out of turn. I believe we do, but I will check with Allison and report back to you no later than your meeting this afternoon.
Okay, so let's stay on town halls, and the next town hall is this Friday, and I think Maggie has the town hall, and is the moderator for that, and so would you like to say a few words about this week's
Right.
town hall?
This will be a town hall on committees, and we will have the committee chairs give reports, or Anthony's giving several reports because he's chair of several committees. So each committee will have someone to report on their committee and just give an outline of what it does and what the purpose is, and what the issues have been this year so far and what we're trying to achieve. Then the second half will be the usual questions and answers. We will forward your questions to the Community Service Center. Other questions we will answer ourselves, but we will not read them at the next board meeting. So we will answer what we can answer, and we will turn the others over to Community Services, just like anyone else would. We don't read them from all of Community Services, so we won't read them from the town halls either.
Okay.
Okay, but
Thank you.
it should be very exciting because some committees have been doing some very good work, and we have some hard things to decide this year, and we are working. Thank you. So
Thank you. And
please come.
that
You
is
could
for-
talk to all of us at once.
And it's the town hall is this Friday from 2 to 4?
Yes, in PAC or Clubhouse 3 for those of us who are.
Okay, Pearl.
Yeah, I have a question to the president. Now, I think we should have the format of reporting the town hall because I didn't realize that we go like each questioners because I think we can go into detail later to save this time of our boardroom. I think the town hall meeting report should be brief and just a summary, I feel.
Yeah, so what we do want to get back to the residents regarding the
Of
answers to their
course,
questions.
yes, yeah, but we
So-
don't use this forum to get back to
Right,
them. Yeah,
right.
thank you.
I agree.
And I have a question. So
Yeah, go
we
ahead.
discuss about the next.
Yeah.
What is the
Next
next?
subject is, that takes care of April and May, so now we'll look forward to June. I think we were thinking about doing the insurance in June as a town hall for property insurance, because maybe by then we'll have rates provided to us for property insurance.
Okay.
But that's up to the board. What's
Yeah.
up to you guys? If you have a better idea or another idea, we could have that in June, so.
Yeah, that was Anthony and I, were formulating that.
You wanted to do that, okay, so for June. Do you want to still do that in June?
So,
Okay.
okay.
And
Can
both
I-
of you be moderators. Okay.
Can I suggest something? Because I received lots of, that's what I suggested. Insurance, one, we had it 2 months ago, and then every time we are talking about HO6 as well. But if you wanted to give as a capital insurance, which is one program. However, landscaping, we need it. People need some answer. People are not happy. And I am not very knowledgeable to answer what is. I think we need really one town hall and let people come and then express, and you can mention that how they are doing turf reduction and all of those good projects that is on the way and people don't know. And definitely I think there is a need for, I know you work on that one, maybe you want to do that one first, but next one after that is summer is coming and people needs to be informed for landscape.
Go ahead, Diane.
I definitely could incorporate that in my committee speech, when I speak this week. And people are welcome to come and ask questions.
No,
about
town
landscape.
hall.
I
It's
know,
like town hall.
but I'm going to be speaking on the landscape
Okay.
committee at the town hall.
Oh.
It's a committee meeting.
What I heard is just 5 minutes report. That's why I receive an email like that. It's not lots of information that you can have a town hall for landscape and people can talk about landscape and different things. Lots of comings and I'm
But
sure you are
they could
better.
come to the town hall this week if they have landscaping issues and bring them up.
bring it.
And, I'm going to be there
like
talking
ours.
about the landscape committee. So, it's.
So I
it's a
highly
pro-
suggest that a landscape town hall, we should have it. Anyway, bottom line.
But that's a good point. They could come this week, too,
Yeah.
and present any ideas they have on landscaping, or anything they
Yeah,
want to talk
anything,
about.
right.
Yeah. So we agreed to, next town hall will be on property insurance? Or, okay, not HO6, we did that
No,
already.
not
Okay,
HO6,
so
but just
property
the overall.
insurance. Okay, and by then, we should have a couple of quotes, hopefully, from the insurance brokers, and we could, hopefully, we'll have some cost savings so we could report, but that could be included in your presentation. Okay, so that will be June on property insurance, and you two, Tony and Diane, will be moderators. Okay. Okay. Next is to enter, is point B, 13B, entertain a motion to approve the 2023 updated annual election schedule and approve a resolution appointing the Inspector of Elections. Yeah, go ahead, please.
Resolution 01-23-XX, approve Inspector of Election Services. Whereas Civil Code 5110 requires an association to select an independent third party or parties as an inspector of elections, and whereas in accordance with Civil Code 5110, 5115, 5120, and 5125, the Inspector of Elections performs several tasks during an election, including but not limited to print and mail voter packages, inspect and tabulate ballots, and certify results. Now therefore be it resolved May 9th, 2023, that the Board of Directors of United Woods Mutual hereby approves awarding a contract to Unelect Corporation to perform Inspector of Election Services for the 2023 annual election of directors, and resolve further that the officers and agents of this corporation are directed on behalf of the corporation to carry out this resolution.
Any motions to approve? Okay. And who seconded?
Pearl second.
Pearl, okay. Any discussion? Okay, all those in favor?
I have a question.
Yeah, Maggie.
Do we have a cost for this? I mean, we're always going to have it. I just think we need to know how much
It's
it costs.
$28,000, $28,120 plus postage.
Thank you. Oh, I see it. Right, thank you.
And it's already in our budget, I'm sure.
Right, I'm sure.
Okay.
Thank you.
Any other questions? Okay. Do we need to vote on this? Okay.
Yes.
All those in favor, raise your hand. All those opposed? You abstain, okay. All right. So the motion is passed, or the resolution is passed, sorry. Okay. Okay, next item is 13C. Entertain a motion to approve a supplemental appropriation for damage restoration reimbursement backlog case load, 13C. Would you like to read that?
Resolution 01-23-XX, supplemental appropriation for damage restoration reimbursement backlog case load. Whereas there is a backlog of more than 310 damage restoration events between 2020 and 2022 that may have been caused by a shareholder's alteration or negligence, and whereas each case in the backlog requires a responsibility evaluation to take place per Civil Code 5855 in order to impose a reimbursement assessment to the member, and whereas the potential amount recovered to the mutual is estimated at approximately $1.5 million, and whereas the amount of staff time it will take to complete a responsibility evaluation for each of the backlog cases exceeds the resources of existing staff, and whereas a supplemental appropriation of the amount of $160,680 is needed to engage temporary staffing services to complete the evaluation of the backlogged cases. Now therefore be it resolved on May 9th, 2023, the Board of Directors of this corporation hereby authorize a supplemental appropriation in the amount of $160,680 to be funded from the operating fund for temporary staffing services to assist with processing the backlog of reimbursement cases resulting from damage restoration events, and resolve further that the officers and agents of this corporation are hereby authorized on behalf of the corporation to carry out the purpose of this resolution.
Okay. Is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
I second it.
And seconded by Azar. Any discussion or questions?
Yeah, my question is, by allowing $165,000 some dollars, would that bring all the invoice up to current status? Would it, is it?
May I just respond? This came to the finance, and we gave a good report from that.
Yeah,
This is supposed to, this staff really send the bills to the residents, and some of them, they already have insurance, HO6, and they can get it from there, but they cannot apply until they receive this bill.
Yeah.
Respond to your question, absolutely comes, and we get all of them. We don't know, but we have to apply first to see how much we can receive it.
Well,
What we are going to get it.
Yeah, well, this discussion started out from the membership committee, so I know very well about the backlogged invoices and stuff. My question is, by allowing this amount of money, how are we going to be current, or how far are we?
I would like to ask
Catching up.
Damage Restoration Manager
Yes.
Jay Allen to
Yeah.
address that.
Yeah.
Thank you all for your time. Yes, to your question, it should address all of the cases that we have outstanding in the backlog. That's the plan, all 314 that were in the proposal here. My staff, current staff, regular staff, would be working the 2023 cases, while this staff would focus on the backlog and be able to address everything to current. That's the plan.
And I believe it's an 8-month schedule from the time you start it to the time you think you will be able to catch up and everything, correct?
That's correct. It's an 8-month plan.
So after this is all caught up, what would be the average time to process the invoice in the current situation? Would they get the invoice like within 2 months or 3 months, or after everything's caught up?
Probably around that time. So the way my staff is handling current cases is they're preparing all the documentation that they need ready to send out, and they're waiting on the invoices to arrive from the companies who bill us, that's kind of the place that we want to be, where it's not any hold on our actions. It's just waiting for the cost to be realized from the companies that do the work, and then include that in our reports that go out and our letters that go out to the members.
Okay, thank you. So I'm going to assume that this backlog was created because everything was shut down and we couldn't work on it. Do you see any projection going forward this year and the next years that we will be up to date, other than waiting on invoices, but our work will be up to date, that our documentation will be up to date, or do you see us that we can't keep up even with 2023?
But I hate to keep spouting the new system will solve everything, but in a lot of cases, the new system will solve a lot of things. The majority of the staff time that has to go into this is, I call it forensics of looking through our current system and piecing together things that happened up to 3 years ago. The new system alleviates some of those concerns. It packages things into a way that links everything right to an event as a project rather than many pieces we have to put together. So to your point, not only with the reduced workload from not having a backlog, but also the inclusion of the new system, I foresee no reason why we would not be able to stay on top of it once those things
Going forward.
Going
Perfect, thank you.
Diane, go ahead.
I was just saying, so when CMS goes in to look at the problem, and then they determine, well, this is the fault of some alteration, they're alerted to that right away, right? And then they sign something, and then they end up coming and fixing, putting the drywall back up or doing whatever they're going to do. And that's kind of the charge that they get billed for and the invoices you're waiting for. So, but they're aware of it, but it's just they're waiting. I know it took me a long time. I think when they did mine in 2019, I don't think I got it until 21 to 22. And luckily I was able to process it through my HOA, my insurance, and they paid right away. And so that was good for me. Thanks.
I have a question. Go ahead.
Is it possible when you started this one, hopefully we passed today, and then you started every 3 months, we get a report at how we collected, how much we collected, because it's a big one. It's 1.6 million? Yeah, $1.5 million is a huge amount. So is it possible? I think we discussed this one in the finance. Possibly we can get a report every 3 months.
I don't see any reason why we can't give
Okay,
regular updates
perfectly.
on this. It'll be not only in case number, but hopefully in the amount per case. The amounts vary greatly. So let's say we did 150 cases on the first half and 150 cases on the second half. Those dollar amounts could vary wildly. As far as one case costs $200, another case costs $20,000. But those updates are things that we could definitely provide your way.
Thank you.
I would like to let everybody know we have to train up a large amount of staff, be it our own and temporary staff. So the start may be slower than once they get into the process and get used to it. So if you get that first update, and it'll still be, I would assume, greatly over the $160,000 that we're asking for. But if you don't see $750,000, fear not, it'll be coming.
Thank you. Appreciate if you get it.
Diane?
But you are addressing the ones that could run out of time, like first, the 2020?
Absolutely. Yeah, so that's how we've been attacking the backlog. It just currently didn't allow my staff to work on current cases, but we were always addressing the oldest cases first. The only exception to that is resales. Obviously, those jump to the top, but the oldest cases would definitely go first. We want to give the members as much opportunity to file with their HO6 or HO4 as often as possible.
And in order to keep the expenses down for this program, one of the suggestions that came up was to consider hiring our residents to help out, because this is going to be done on weekends, this program. And this would give our residents, if they're capable of doing it, some opportunity to make some more money and to help them. Has that been considered, or is that going to work in this case?
It's been considered. It hasn't been completely tossed to the wayside, but we're still working through exactly the nuts and bolts of how this is going to work. We're not taking anything off the table. If there's people to help, we need those people involved. So we are leaning heavily into temporary staff right now because we believe that they're available and able to train there, but we're not taking that suggestion off the table for sure.
Okay. Maggie, did you have?
The only difficulty I have with that suggestion is confidentiality. And I'm sure whatever you do, you could be sure that was maintained. It's a kind of a difficult thing to put a bill into another resident's hands for processing. But if that can be handled, it's a very good program. Thank you. I think we should pass this as soon as possible.
Yeah, Jay, I just appreciate the plan you put together and the detail of it and the job you do. I think you do a good job and do appreciate it. Thanks.
Thank you much.
Thank you very much, Dan. And so at this point, any other questions? Okay, so let's call for the vote. All those in favor of this resolution, damage restoration reimbursement backlog resolution, please raise your hand. Okay, it's unanimous. Very good. Okay. Okay, director comments. Any director comments at this point? Pearl?
Oh, hi. I just wanted to clarify. I know there's some question about, Laguna Woods Foundation is spending a lot of big number of funds, and where does it all come from? It does come from the clubs, but I think the big chunk is coming from the residents. When they pass away, they put the Laguna Woods Foundation as a donor of their assets. So that's where the big chunk is coming from.
Any other comments? No? Okay. All right. Let's go to committee reports. Reports of the Finance Committee. Azar?
Can we get the first page? Thank you. Thank you, Mr. President.
Mr. President, would it be possible to take a few-minute break?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's do a 5-minute break.
That's a good point.
Thank you.
5-minute break. Okay, till 11:30.
And get some.
That's the best one.
be sure I get that spot. Well, I usually watch it home myself unless I have something to say, but I watch all the meetings, really, that are televised. And so I figure I might as well just stay since I watch. Yeah. Yeah. It's usually my day of history. Well, I'll get there. We're moving along. You're supposed to tell yourself.
That works because it's closed. So what you can see is
and go to lunch. So go ahead, Azar.
Okay, thank you, Mr. President. The first page you can see, through the reporting period of March 31st, 2023, total revenue for United was $12.8 million compared to expenses of $11.5 million, resulting in net revenue of $1.3 million. Can I have a slide 2? Thank you. As usual, operating is very important for us and for residents to know. The operating fund without depreciation shows an operating surplus of $536,000 through the reporting period, and this chart shows how much of our revenue went in operation, with $5.9 million coming in from assessment and $369,000 coming from non-assessment revenue. This is compared to operating expenditure of $5.6 million. Can we have slide 3? Thank you. This next chart is the full income statement and compares those results to budget. We can see that United ended the period better than budget by $1.2 million when combining both operating and reserve account together. And in slide 4, please. Thank you. Slide 4. As you can see, the most significant variances is from budget, and all the good news is favorable. Employee compensation is $493,000 favorable variance, resulting primarily in the landscape and MNC department due to open positions. And outside service, $334,000 favorable variance, resulting in timing of expenditures based on waistline remediation and roof replacement. And then these two, eventually it might use this $334,000. And then investment income, as usual, we are all happy, is green, $148,000 favorable variance, resulting in the higher rate of return received on Treasury bill investment than anticipated at the time of budget operation. We go to slide 5. On this pie chart, we show non-assessment revenue earned to date is $554,000. Revenue is organized by categories, starting with our largest revenue generating category, investment income, followed by fees and charges, laundry, lease, processing fee, and go so forth. And slide 6. On this pie chart, we see the expenses to date is $11.5 million, showing that our largest category of expenses are for employee compensation and property tax, followed by outside service, insurance, utilities, and material and supplies, and so forth. And on the right side, you can see on the corner, we show the breakout of utility category. On slide 7, we see those same expense, but not included the property tax, because that's different funds. So you can see how it works. And slide 8, our fund balances are shown here. The contingency fund balance on March 31st, 2023 was $1.1 billion. Contribution collected total $19,000 with no expenditures today. The reserve fund balance on March 31st, 2023 was $17.3 million. Contribution and investment revenue collected total $3.1 million, while expenditures was $2.4 million. The property tax fund balance on March 31st was negative $500,000. Contribution and investment revenue collected totaled $3.4 million, while expenditures was $3.2 million. And if we go to page 9, here you can see we compare this to historical fund balance for the past 5 years on this chart, which we have average of $19 million. And in page 10, we have a slide here to show resale history from 2021 to 2023. Throughout March 31st, 2023, United resales total 77, which is 44 resale lower than prior year, unfortunately, for the same time period. However, the average year-to-date resale price for the United Manor was $332,000, which is $18,000 higher than last year. So the price didn't drop, but the resales dropped. So that was basically the report of that. And can I go for the number 3 report? Okay, yeah, go.
So when I go back to the fund balance report, why do we have property tax fund on there? It's not even showing on the chart. Is it,
which page you are making?
Is it because we just paid it and we're in the negative? Which
Yes.
is fine because we make
We
it
just
up every
made it
month.
every
Yes.
month, yes.
But so we'll start seeing it show on the chart. When, like month after month, no, you have property tax fund.
Can you tell me exactly which page you are
It says
talking?
page 11.
Page 11?
Yeah.
Because you mentioned page 9.
Yeah,
Okay.
fund balance.
Okay. Page 11, I don't have.
Property tax fund is not even on there, and, but the reason,
There
it's
is no
negative.
page 11, it's page
Right
10.
here, page 11 and 12.
Oh, on the top, okay.
Oh, page 9.
Sorry. Okay, so what was your question?
So property tax fund is in the negative, which doesn't show here, but I know why it's in the negative is that because we paid it out in April, and it will slowly build up as our HOA receipts come in. For property tax, it starts to build again, and then in January or the end of December, it happens again. But if it's not if it will start to show on here, and if it's negative, shouldn't it show negative?
This is the blue one, and only, actually, I don't know that property tax fund here, because it's only contingency and replacement.
Yeah,
This chart
so
is contingency
I
and
think
replacement.
that was kind of
That
my
was
point.
kind
It
of
shouldn't be
yes.
on there.
And I don't know, actually, good point, because always we have contingency and replacement, and that little line, average line, which just shows. That black one is just
Yeah, I
not
think
here.
that should be off of there.
That's not
Yeah.
here.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, and now we're going, yes, yes.
Is NCB not funding anymore? Is it
Pardon?
reflected in this?
Pardon?
NCB is not funding us anymore, right?
NCB, no, no. After NCB never funded. NCB got it and then sell it to the Fannie Mae, and then Fannie Mae
whatever.
back up, and then therefore no. It's almost 1.5 years.
Yeah. But so there is nobody funding United Properties anymore?
You mean the working loan? There is no
loan.
loan right now, but we are working on that, and I'm reporting right now. If you give me
okay.
1 minute.
Because I have somebody who would fund.
Okay, and then the next report. Oh, other question now for the finance. The report is in a private loan research ad hoc committee. We are meeting every week, and we are progressing very, very well. The promising note and security, and basically is 2/3 of the work is done, and the last part, hopefully in 2 weeks we are done, and then we will send after that package our legal counsel before we represent to the board, and hopefully if we are going meeting, we will be ready to present to board to decide that or for their comment. So at this moment, that is for the loan, and then the report, that's it. The report of budget is number 5 is President Ross, is not me.
How about investment ad hoc?
Oh, the investment ad hoc committee, there was 3 items that created for working for 3 items, changing the investment, which happened in November 14. And the next was written a policy, which already presented and passed. And by this policy, we sent to 4, yes, actually 5. We have a good companies that they are willing to come, and we are going to process of interviewing them. And then after the committee decided, we will present to the board the result of that. That would be by end of this May, probably by next June. Hopefully we can present both of them.
Okay, Diane.
Well, I just want to know, is that going to be an open meeting, and is it going to be published on the meeting schedules?
Yes, all of them. Investment is a closed session, always was closed investment. But the private loan, yes, is open, and then you're welcome to come.
But as a board member, are we allowed to go to those meetings?
Of course.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah, so,
I said
I mean,
of course,
but-
but I'm guessing yes.
Even closed, even closed.
I'm saying,
Yeah.
to my view, you should, but I don't know the rule.
You
The
can
rule, I think,
come.
is we can go.
You can go to any of those meetings, yeah.
Yes.
And they'll be published too. They're coming up in May.
Yes, and we will
They're scheduled with the investment advisors who are representing large companies that are providing these presentations. And I think there's 2 scheduled at each of these meetings coming up. So you should attend those. Everyone should attend those if you're
Yes,
available.
the better view. But
Sure, great, thank you.
That's it?
yes, thank you so much.
Okay, the next is report of
The Architectural Controls and Standards Committee, Director Liberatore.
Thank you, Mr. President. We haven't had any requests for alterations, and so to save time and money, we didn't have a meeting last month, and we're going to cancel the one this month that was due in May. That's all I have.
Okay.
Mr. President, I think you, number 5, 6, 7, is passed, or there is no, is director tuning and you? I don't know. Number 5
15A, number 6 and 7.
and 5.
6 and 7, 15.
Anthony? Anthony.
Is that Director Tuning? Is item 6, Tom?
Yeah.
Select audit task, is that still ongoing? I don't even know.
No, we can just say that the audit's been issued and it's been sent out,
Okay.
so.
It's done.
And I assume it's out on the website also, probably, or will be soon, but it's been sent to all the members, so that's
Okay.
been completed and approved.
Okay, so that takes care of 6 and 7. then. Okay. Then item C, which is Director Lee on the committee, report of member hearings committee.
Okay, well, last month membership hearing, we had almost all the penalties were caught up. Everybody paid, and then all the charges that were outstanding was paid. And by adding this extra hours, who could work on the 2020 through 2022 invoices, we'll even have more invoices that were being paid. So I think next couple months, maybe within next 3 to 4 months, we will see more presentations of the invoices that are ready to be collected. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Next item is governing documents, Director Blackwell.
Thank you. We met on April 20th. We discussed room rental policy, the sublease, and room rental policy. Those are, sublease is one thing, room rental policy is another. Room rental policy means the owner, the member is still in the unit. Sublease, the sublessee replaces the member in the unit. And so we were presented with a sublease and room rental policy, but it had both different entities together in the same policy, and the wording became very complex. So we worked through it, and we're going to be working on, we suggested, but we haven't demanded, 2 separate policies. Because if you're reading about sublease room rental policy, it sounds like it's all one thing, but it's entirely different. So we are asking, we'll be working on separating those into 2 simple policies. They'll have the basic things, but the rules change slightly for each one. And rather than have residents and us trying to figure out who is what in which question, we said we just need to divide those into 2 simple policies. It just would go like this, and you pick out the one you need. You're either a room renter or you're a sublessee, and so you just go through the simple policy. And so that's what we will be working on next time. We had a policy for committee meeting rules, and we suggested that, and we are going to be talking about that at an upcoming meeting. Now, everybody knows basic meeting rules, but there are unmentioned basic meeting rules that people always follow, and we want to be sure they do always follow them. So we're just going to make a very simple committee meeting rules so that everybody knows exactly, and it won't be too burdensome. It just be all the rules and customs in one place. We were also going to put the accommodations for disabled residents. There are some documents in alterations that we think we should tag, so alterations needs to locate those, or we'll help them locate those. For alterations about handicapped persons, and there are laws they automatically follow, but they're also not noticed specifically, so we might just notice them specifically, and that we'll talk about Anthony for that. And so those are our 2 future agenda items, and we will appreciate a meeting from alterations at some time when they are ready with that to present us with what they have. Jeff just felt that we should have those policies easily ready together, the alterations policies for handicapped persons, and any policies in M&C for handicapped persons. And those, if those two are together where someone can find them, then Jeff thinks we'll be in good shape. He just suggested that we just locate those and put those in a simple place so that a handicapped person that is putting in their request will know exactly where to go. They do know, but other people who are just looking online for it don't know. If you call up alterations, you'll eventually get there, but they want to make it a little easier. So our next meeting is scheduled for May 18th at 1:30.
I just have a quick follow-up question regarding the sublease program that we currently have. We have approval process currently for a sublessee, sublessor, that they have to submit an application for subleasing and get approval by the HOA for a sublease. And is there going to be the same program worked out for room rentals?
Yes,
where,
there
where
will
they
be
have to apply for that and
there
they
will
have to
be
get
a
approval?
similar thing because they become like a co-occupant who is a non-paying sublessee. I mean, a non-paying roommate in essence. They are rooming in your place, a co-occupant. So we have co-occupants, but they can do everything the member can do. See, and so that's on the number of people in the unit is all. They don't have to pay extra as a co-occupant.
But they have to submit
So,
an
but they
application.
do have to put
They're
in
gonna
an
have to submit
application, which
get
is
approval
approved.
by the HOA. and all
Right,
that.
right. And the roommates will follow a similar thing. So these are the three groups that we have to work about. But those two already exist. There will be slight modifications to them. And then, go ahead.
Good.
I just want to make sure, in my opinion, that we specifically address that an Airbnb or something similar is not allowed.
No, the 30-day
30
max
days.
minimum.
Yes,
It doesn't
minimum is
matter.
30 days.
You can Airbnb for 30 days.
Well, that's the law.
Well,
You
that's,
can't change.
our law was changed. We cannot
So,
allow anything less than, or we cannot require it to be more than 30 days.
No, I understand, but
But we,
per new laws, it's
we
married.
can, it's by law. So they can lease or sublet or whatever they want for 30 days. But they cannot do that for less than 30 days, which is what the Airbnb does. That we can't help it if Airbnb does it with the owner. That,
but would it still require?
it requires all the paperwork.
It still requires the paperwork. So
Right.
even if they went through Airbnb and did it for 30 days or 60 days, it still requires the paperwork.
It's our paperwork.
Perfect, thank
Right.
you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Maggie. Next is report of the Landscape Committee, Director Diane Casey.
Okay, so we met on April 24th and had a presentation by Kurt, who, went over the project log and the water use comparison and had some member comments. And then he told us more about the turf reduction project, which is a passive park that's, now going through. It's had the design, and we have a contractor, and so it's on its way. And so it will be a nice passive park and an example of what we can do with turf reduction. Whoops, make a noise. And then at this time, I'd just like to talk about the ad hoc committee, just because it's so brief. So we met on September 19th, and then at that meeting, we were looking at the environmental studies that we wanted to have on the trees. So there was a consultant from Chamber Group and then Urban Forest. And so, I don't know why that's happening. That buzz. It is. In the way. Nope. Platter. So, they hired those two, and the ad hoc committee needs to kind of go over those reports and come up to speed on how useful they will be to us. So that's coming up. We don't have a date. I'm going to meet with Carlos this Friday to go over my thoughts and on the report that I had. So that's where it stands right now. Thank you.
Next is me, maintenance and construction. So there was a couple things that we talked about at maintenance and construction. One of them is the moisture intrusion backlog, which we talked about this morning, and we addressed it. It was approved by finance and it was approved by us to move forward with that, and hopefully we'll be caught up in the next 8 months with that program. The other thing that we talked about, or I talked about, was to ask M&C to study the idea when we do upgrade our manners in United to consider giving credits to the owners, and the credits would be paid for by United in exchange for the owners, or the owners doing work towards improving our infrastructure, such as replacing old pipes or water shutoff valves, or whatever the items that we would normally be responsible for. Why don't we give the opportunity when the units are upgraded to give them a credit towards doing that work, and so that we don't have to upgrade that unit's pipes or insulation or any of the things that we have to do over a long period of time that hasn't been done. We can take advantage of the contractor and the owner and give them a little bit of a break in exchange for doing those services. So M&C is going to, staff is going to prepare a report back to us at our next meeting to see what we can do to set up a program like that. And I know that Third is also working on a similar program. So this could be community-wide for any time that there's upgrades to manors or condos or co-ops, that that we as the HOA could give credits towards doing upgraded work, which would help our infrastructure, which would normally be replaced anyway. So that could save us money, plus it could modernize our facilities, our properties as well. It's something that we're studying and hopefully we'll be able to implement in the next few months. Next, Mary.
So also in that meeting, and I haven't seen the report yet, but we were given the solar production report, and I suggested that in March of every year that the board get emailed that. I'd like the board to get emailed the last report. And the reason it would be March is that all of the savings there's a true up in January for the last year, and you can then see how much we saved in having the solar panels, because I didn't believe we did, but we did. And so I just suggested that next year that we get that report, but I hope that this year's report also gets to the board members so that we know and we can answer the questions, because it comes up every so often from our members to us. Well, why do we have them? Are we saving any money? We actually are saving quite a bit of money. And one person also said, well, does it go into the laundry room? Does it go? No, it goes into the grid. It goes into the grid and we use off the grid, but we get money, we get credit for what goes into the grid, and they're actually, right now the is negative because we're paying off the investment, but in not too many years we're going to start seeing a positive. Okay, so that's why I'd like that report sent to all of us, and then once a year sent to all of us, because monthly will make no sense. It just causes confusion because of the true up. Okay.
Okay, thank you, Mary. Okay, next item is United Resident Advisory Committee, Director Liberatore.
Thank you, Mr. President. We had a very successful meeting. We have a lot of attendees, but we had to have the meeting up in the Sycamore room because our room, some other meeting here, CAC, overlapped it. So it's a very positive, but I can't talk too much about it because there's some privacy issues. I don't have the permission from the people who have attended to talk about it. So, and our next meeting is this Thursday, May 11th, in the Elm Room here. That's my report, sir.
Okay, thank you. Going to GRF highlights.
Wait,
Did I forget one?
we have new resident orientation.
Oh, I'm sorry. Okay, new
Okay.
resident orientation.
Right, right.
Correct.
The new
Right.
resident orientation is an informational session providing new residents with an opportunity to get acquainted with the operating rules and to talk with a board member who represents your mutual. The topics discussed are welcome, community overview and organization, resident services, dwelling life. We show you how to do everything on this screen here. The meeting is here in this room. There are between 5 and 50 or 60 people here each time. It just, we never know if it's raining, only a few come. If it's nice, everybody comes. You need to reserve, you need to go online and reserve so that you get to the right new orientation. We don't really want third people to hear all our secret information, so they need to go to the third. Okay, and we tell them about community overview and organizational structure, resident services, dwelling live. We show you exactly how to sign up on this screen. Resident portal, we show you exactly how to sign it up on the screen. Frequently called numbers, code red, recycling and bulk item. All of this, by the way, most of this is also in your briefs almost every month. Keep file program, security department, HO6 insurance policy. We spent about 10 minutes on that. Policy regulating home occupations. Home occupations. That means running a business from your home. Very few people do. Manner alterations, we spend a great deal of time on that. And questions and feedback. We have one each month. Some are in the morning from 9 to 11 or noon, and some this United Wednesday, that's this week, tomorrow, it's at 4:30 to 6. So you need to, residents need to register for that so we can prepare the packages. We give you a package. It's about 50 pages thick of all the things. And so we need that. And we do not check the date you moved in. So even if you moved in 7 years ago, if you've never been to one and don't know anything about the village and don't read your briefs very carefully, come to the new resident orientation and find out what you've been missing. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. GRF committee highlights, GRF Finance, Director Ascari.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Yes, GRF has a finance meeting on April 19, and it was packed in that room by all of the residents were upset about the club's fee. So lots of people came, and thanks to Director Tuning that make a motion that we have to listen to them. So Chair accept to listen to all of those people, and they table, actually. We didn't move, we didn't make any motion. We table to research more about that. Apparently, the numbers comes very fast, and that's how some numbers was 400% up. So that's a little bit was unwise to move so fast. So GRF Finance decided to table that one and until more research and bring it back again. And another issue that lots of people came to the finance was this LED stop sign. Many people talk about that, and some residents even took some videos and shows that those LED didn't do anything because they are not seeing the stop sign. They just do, as they said, California stop. They slow down and then pass. So those lights, those flashing didn't do anything. And one resident captured 141 little videos, 30 seconds, and shows the cars which comes and goes through that. That was another issue that GRF didn't really do lots of research before they are going through that. But this is phase 1. Hopefully they be a little bit more careful, and I don't know about phase 2 or 3 that they are going. So that was 2 big issues that happened in GRF finance meeting. The next meeting is in June 21st, 2023 at 1:30 in the boardroom. Thank you.
Next is Community Activities Committee Director Pearl Lee.
We had a meeting on the April 13th, and of course this is also included the agenda of fee rental increase. There were hundreds of petitions were turned in. There were just about 40 residents wanted to speak against the fee raise, and the motion failed. So next meeting is going to be on May 11th at 1:30.
Okay. And next is GRF Landscape Committee Director Sue Kwum.
Well, we met on February 8th, and so it's been recapped once before, but the highlight of it, I think, was that the statutes have mandated that we move away from gas-powered equipment and go toward electrical equipment. And they're starting that process, and they're using rebates whenever they can. So it's since we have to do this, they're doing it in a very economical way. The next meeting is May 10th at 1:30 in the boardroom, and it's a virtual meeting.
Okay, thank you. Next, GRF Maintenance and Construction Director Mary Simon.
So we had people that came up to update us on the asphalt seal coat program, priority project presentation, which we were looking at, temporary office lease space, which we now have for Building E, and that the space study is on space study update is on schedule. We didn't have anything more on the Clubhouse 1. Any updates on that? We're waiting for more information going forward from staff. And the next meeting for the GRF is June 14th, and the ad hoc is to be determined.
Okay, thank you. Next is Media and Communications Director Kwum, Sue Kwum.
Well, again, I don't have much to report on this because they are at the microphone. Oh, it is on.
No, I just turned it on for you.
Oh, I'm sorry. Thank you. I don't have much to report on this because they are doing their ad hoc committees. And it's been decided that the staff and the various members of the committees will report in May to the major group. So you can hear more from the various ad hoc committees.
Next is Director Zar Skari on Website Ad Hoc Committee.
Yes, ad hoc committee is coming together, narrowing to the two companies that they wanted to do this job, and we are just comparing. In the last meeting that presented, some committee members has concern, especially about the research tab, that make sure that the research tab is the most important things in the website that people can find it. And then many others issue. The result that backs was not on the timing for the website ad hoc committee, so they moved the meeting to May 12. So May 12, we have, this is a closed session again, is only virtual meeting for the members. Hopefully by next month, I can report that which company they are going to design, and hopefully residents likes this new design.
Okay. Thank you. Next is Broadband Ad Hoc Committee, Director Diane Casey.
Yes, so we met on April 17th, and we've been going over the different scenarios that have been suggested. And so we already went through one, and we were doing two, and two kind of goes into three. So Director Bach and Director Quam are now on that committee too. And so some big decisions and a lot of information to understand. So we have our broadband consultant going to help us with the RFP that's going to go out to different vendors that could help us. So that's where it stands, and May 23rd is our next meeting.
So I have a question for you on this Broadband Ad Hoc Committee, and we have three very capable directors on this committee. There's going to, as we move forward, we're going to get closer to deciding on what could be costing a lot of money, for our community and our residents. Is there an education process in place to educate our residents on this decision that's coming up so that they know what's going on? Is there discussion at the committee about this?
Yeah, I think it would be with our consultant. It would also be with the vendor who might help us do this process, who's going to help us through it and do the installation and provide the education. So there'll be lots of education. And Debbie Dotson is doing a lot of education now. And so I think it's called, Talk Tech or something, Tech Talk.
Okay.
But yes, a lot of education. Because
Okay.
we have to see where we're going and then.
I think it's important for the other board members too to understand it. The other board members on United, ourselves, to better be educated by you guys as you're our representatives as we get closer to deciding on this investment.
Right.
Because I need some education on it, and I think all of our board members do as well.
I think Allison had something she wanted to say. Did you want to say something?
Yeah, there's a keen awareness that this is a huge project that's going to take an enormous amount of community buy-in. And there's lots of technical expertise out in our community, thank goodness. So there are going to be many different points of view, many thoughts about how we should and shouldn't proceed. And the financial aspect alone is quite daunting. It's been suggested by, I think, Jim Hopkins, that an outside consultant be used to develop a financial pro forma about how to finance whatever gets decided. So there are just so many balls in the air on this one, and we're going to be talking about it all year.
Okay. Mary.
I have a concern that I hope that you put into when you put this together.
Can people pull their mics a little closer?
I'm
so
sorry.
we can hear?
Thank you. So I have a concern, and this is down to the detail level, but I want to make sure that that the assumption is not made that everybody's going to stream, because streaming is very expensive, not for just the residents. If you want, anything, Netflix, I don't buy any of those. I don't want them. But I don't want to lose the channels that we are going to lose some channels, but there's channels that everybody watches that I want to make sure that we are still able to provide cable services with the channel, with whatever. I'm not going to get specific on channels, but that it's not going to be that we're doing this and everybody's going to stream, because that's just not it. The budget of everybody's household does not include streaming services. So I just want to make sure that that's all considered.
Yeah, I mean, we're definitely aware of, we want to provide, services to the members, and so it's a changing market, and it's getting very, very expensive, to provide programming, and so we want to be in control because we don't want our members to have bills, that are going to be expensive. Right. We want to be in control of it. And so partnering with people and doing what we can. But the thing is, a lot of people are streaming, and our infrastructure right now can't really take that, so we have to think about how we're going to provide fiber to the resident, because right now it stops at the curb. So, it's just going over all these options and plans and making it so, our founder was very bright, and that he formed the first, infrastructure for cable. Even before Cox and all those others, But all those channels are being bought up and consolidated with other, like Disney and all those. So it's making it hard, and the company that provided us with the programs, we don't want to just drop all these channels either, and then give them a limited, So anyway, they're working on it. Thanks. And Sue had a question.
Maggie had her hand up.
Yes, choice 3 will be making money for the village. If we choose choice 3, we will be making money for the village. It will not be costing us. And so we have to do some things. We have to look and see how that goes. But choice 2 sounds good, but choice 3 is the opportunity for us to not only fund ourselves, but make money on this because of the facility that we already have with the fiber that's already in the ground. So that is a very pleasant-looking choice, and we'll see. But we've got some work to do, and we'll be deciding soon. But it's not all going to cost. We're trying to keep that down, but the possibility of actually renting out our facility is what it basically is to other users is a plum on a tree that we would like to get a hold of. And so we have to consider all that entails, but that is a very positive and tempting choice. But we have to be careful. There are 2 very good choices, and we'll see. So that one sounds very good. The other one is a whole lot less expensive than it could be because we have the fiber in the ground already. We do have to do some modifications and things, but we already have that. As she said, he must have been a mind reader or a future seer to have planned this so well. But there's a positive light here. There really is. So don't think it's going to always be expensive. Thank you.
All right, Ms. Sue.
Sorry, I did it again. Okay, I think the cost of upgrading is daunting, and I guess I'm wondering, are we required to do this? Is this an infrastructure system that's implied or that is mandated? Because I do wonder about that. And also, where is this money coming from for the infrastructure upgrade? Is this coming from the Mutuals Reserve and VMS Reserve? Or I just, before we go down, it's excellent work. They're doing excellent work, and I understand that it would be very, very valuable to upgrade. And the infrastructure is not going to be able to support this, going forward. But what is the cost?
It is.
Where is the money coming from? And is this something that's required? If this has to come out of our reserves, do our members want that versus purchasing from Cox? Or those are the type of questions that I'm getting, and I'd like to know how to respond.
Okay, can we not go to the debate, because this is for probably,
Yeah, this
Well, I
can go
just-
on for hours, so,
I just
which
want
will
to say
never
one thing.
resolve.
It
Go
is,
ahead.
things are being discussed, and that's why we have you on the committee, you know, because
Right.
we want to hear, you know, what you have to say. And also there's, you know, things that we could partner up with someone, and they might take the expense, who knows? you
The
know,
current
with the
system
contract.
will,
okay.
it will be impossible to run in 2 years. It's
Okay.
going to end in less than 2 years. There are not, our current system cannot work.
No,
There,
that's not
no one will be supplying those things in 2 years.
Okay,
So,
that's not true. Okay, that's not
Okay,
true
we're
for
not
the.
gonna- we're not gonna
Okay,
debate
Mr.
here.
President,
So,
my
no,
hand was up.
we're going to end the discussion
Well, you
on
never
this.
asked
Okay.
my name.
So we're
You
going to
never
end.
asked my name.
No.
It's just a suggestion, not discussion.
Okay.
Can I add
One
suggestion?
final-
Actually, Shivani, serious suggestion. A
So what-
suggestion is, it's such a big things like this. Why we cannot, I mean, she talked 5 minutes,
Yeah,
Director.
okay.
Director
All right,
Blackwell,
we're-
5 minutes talk about choice one, choice
Okay,
two, choice three.
let's end the discussion.
I didn't know
because
about.
Azar, we're going to stop.
No, I want
See,
suggestion.
No, we're going to stop.
Oh,
at
okay.
This
this
is
point.
actually a
Because this is closed
subject.
session.
It's a closed subject.
Yeah, okay.
Of course, it's big, so.
I was just opening it up just so that it's important to know that there's going to be big expenses and very complex decisions, and it should be educated to our residents as far as our board members, as well as everyone should be aware of it coming downstream before it happens. That's the only thing I wanted to comment. So let's move on at this point. So number F, report of the mobilities vehicle.
I
communication.
got nothing. You'll be glad to hear I've got nothing. We met back in February, there are buses, new buses running around. The last meeting was canceled, it was scheduled, and looking ahead, we may or may not meet in June, I assume. Robert Carroll and his transportation group are doing everything they should do, but I got nothing, folks.
Okay, next item is report of the Security and Communication Community
could you
Access
please-
Committee Director Blackwell. Madam.
thank you.
10 minutes.
We do have new small buses, though. And that was somewhere I saw the other day, so.
that's enough.
You do have something. Okay. We updated the cameras in the RV lots so they now can read the license plates and identify trespassers. So that's good. We discussed fading crosswalks and so on through the intersections. That would be another choice of painting big crosswalks. If people are running the stop signs, we could put big white diagonal stripes, which are very hard to miss, so that they will be aware, although they already are aware that they're running stop signs, it might make them hesitate a little bit more. But the habit is to glide through, apparently, just glide through. Okay, the backup generator is needed for Clubhouse 3. All the other clubhouses have backup generators. We wouldn't like somebody to be stuck in a concert or something and have that whole thing go out without a backup generator. So that is something. There are generators at Clubhouse 1, 5, the community center, the warehouse, the radio, the broadband bill, and the towers. So there are a lot of them around. We're getting a new one for Clubhouse 3. There are only 9 on the RV waiting list, which is good. And so that's coming close. There have been 54 deaths within the community. And the request was to know how many suicides, because we do usually have some of those every year. So we'll let you know about that. But 54 is not many considering the age of this community. Recent Gate 12 updates were shown. It's going much better. People are moving through faster because they actually know where their resident card is, so they can hold it up, and so on. They've got scanner, and guest passes are easier to get now for that. So that's moving. Gate 12 is much better. Thank you. We meet again on June 28th. Thank you.
Laguna Woods Village Traffic Hearings, Director Cash Akrakar.
The traffic hearings were held on April 19th, and the next hearing is on May 17th at 9 a.m. in the boardroom. I would also like to say one more thing. Even the squirrels have right of way. Don't run over them.
Or you see any improvement in the stop signs helping the traffic hearings?
There are traffic signs with lights, but I don't see any difference. Those who stop at stop signs do stop. Those who don't stop at stop sign don't even look at them.
Yeah, that's right. I just want to say, I was talking to somebody in Huntington Beach who, they installed those stop signs, you know, and it really cut down on the traffic problems, you know, citations and things like that. And
It's good to know.
so,
Yeah,
because
that's
it was
different from
I
the
think
beach
also
55
maybe it's too soon to see the results in the traffic hearing. But I do think though, at the nighttime, they can see the lights. Because I had several requests from the residents, they cannot see the stop sign at night. And those are the places they put some with the flashing lights, so hopefully they will help. So it's not all that bad, so we'll see.
It's all the bad.
Okay, thank
Yeah.
you, Cash.
It's all
Report of the Disaster Preparedness Task Force, Director Anthony Liberatore.
Thank you, Mr. President. We didn't have a meeting this past month, and we're going to have another meeting this month on May 30th. This is a committee that's really called a task force, not a committee, and so it's headed up by Eric Nunez, our Chief of Security. That's all I have.
Okay, thank you. Report of the Compliance Ad Hoc, Director Maggie Blackwell.
Okay, yes, this is GRF's Compliance Ad Hoc Committee. So GRF has a compliance system just like we do. We were trying to dovetail them together, but we didn't. So they're working on that one. And it's going very well. We've approved the policy for private nuisance, odors, violation of laws, violation of governing documents. We're working on the executive hearings resolution right now. We approved the harassment policy with minor changes. Our next meeting will be May 3rd. Thank you.
Thank you. And lastly, Information Technology Advisory Committee, Director Casey.
Yes, so we met on April 28th, and it's going along really nicely now that they have a lot of the contracts that were, you know, banking and different things that had to be signed, and, you know, so it's, the consultants are very knowledgeable. They've been helping us for a long time, even before this new ERP system. And so, you know, they've been meeting with staff and making sure that everything, all their requests are, you know, are paid attention to. And then, you know, at some point, they're going to be having people do the, you know, experiment with it so that they know it's working, you know, on a test database and things like that. So the next meeting's to be announced.
Okay, thank you. Okay, future agenda items, I guess there are none. And so we're going to now go into recess, and we'll start our closed session about 1:15. Thank you very much. Thank you.